Hello guys, and welcome to this installment of A Computers and Technology, and today we're going to be flying blind because I agreed to review this Alxum 10-port USB charging station. I went on Amazon and then I realized that this thing doesn't have any reviews or customer reviews. And the thing is, I like to use the customer reviews to kind of get a sense of problems in the long term, because I can't really test for longevity right now because obviously I'm just opening the product, and I like to see issues that other people are having and actually test for those issues in the video. But since there's no prior reviews, I can't do that. So this is going to be really interesting. Who knows what is going to happen with this USB charging station. Now, this is currently on Amazon for $60. The price is definitely a bit steep. There are currently some other 10-port USB charging stations of similar design on the market for, I think, 10 to 15 bucks cheaper. So I kind of do have pretty high expectations for this thing. That high price tag is setting high expectations, and I'm starting to ramble now, so let's go ahead and take this thing out of the box. Now, this thing is designed to provide a maximum continuous output of around 100 watts. This is 96 watts right here, so fully loaded, that's approximately 2 amps per port, so that's definitely not too shabby. So first impressions, this is very, very, very light. Like, it's probably like 2 of these mice combined, and I don't know, this does not feel like a $60 product. I expected it to be a bit beefier, but weight isn't everything, so it might still be able to output that full 100 watts. We will see. Going further into the box, you can see that it has a bunch of spacers because this is a charging station. You're going to take your devices and place it right on top of here, and then you can get a bunch of 1-foot USB cables and plug them into all 10 of those USB ports. And don't get ripped off. Get your 1-foot USB cables at like the dollar store or something, because they do sell USB cables, because I buy them from the Dollar Tree all the time. Now, this does feel beefy. This is a big power brick right here. It is rated for 8 amps max at 12 volts. So if this thing is really outputting 100 watts, this thing should be able to handle that load as well. And then I'm not really sure what these are. I think these are like twist ties or something. I will come back to these because those are a bit odd. Looks like we have a little customer service card right here, and then a very, very, very tiny user manual right here. So I'm going to clean up my workspace and get back to you guys in just a second. I mean, honestly, I do have to say that this thing feels a tad bit cheap for something that's $60. If you're looking for something that's anodized aluminum and could kill someone, this is not the charging station for you. But just because it's light and plastic doesn't mean it's not going to get the job done. So let's go ahead and run some tests on it. As you can see, I have it on now. It's working just fine. You can see the blue LED indication light on here. So that is on, indicating that the unit is on, and of course you can also see that by the USB multimeters that I have plugged in right now. And by the way, I did finally figure out what these things are for. They're just padding to go on the panels right here. As you can see, there's a little indentation. You can take these off and put it here. I mean, that's optional. I'm not going to do it right now because I don't really see a point in doing so, but if you're worried about your device getting scratched up, you can go ahead and take these off the like parchment paper and put them on these faceplates so they don't scratch up your devices. And to insert these, you're just gonna drop them down like so. This is really, really straightforward. And that gives you a little place to put your device. Not sure if my S4 will fit in there because it is very, very bulky. I have a battery case on it. Or just take it, drop it down there, and that's exactly what they are for. And you can put them all along here. I think this thing comes with how many in total? So I'm gonna dump them all out and I'll count real quick. Okay, so this comes with 11 plastic panels in total, and I'm just gonna throw them all up here for your viewing pleasure. And that looks very ugly because I did not evenly space them. By the way, they are very easy to remove as well. Oh, you know what? I didn't put that in all the way, so I'm gonna put a little force on. It does require a bit of force to get them to stay in place, but once you have them in place, they're not going anywhere. That's just fine. But they are easy to remove. You're just going to take it, pull it out, and replace it. So you can make adjustments as needed depending on the devices you want to plug into this charging station. Now, this is a charging station after all, so let's go ahead and plug in my S4. So as you can see, plugged in my S4, and it is charging at the moment, so I can confirm that the unit is indeed functional. Now, we're going to put it under a heavier load. I'm going to take a bunch of USB resistor dummy loads, load this thing up to its max capacity, and see how it fares. Oh man, those LEDs are bright. It looks like Christmas over here. Anyway, this has been running at half capacity for the past 5 minutes, and I haven't run into any issues with it. Nothing is even warm to the touch yet, not even the power brick, so everything's just fine there. I'm going to push this thing to its max, bump all of these USB resistor dummy loads up to 2 amps, and see how this thing holds up. It smells absolutely horrible in here because these USB resistor dummy loads are getting very, very hot. And as you can see, smoke is starting to come off them at the moment. So I am going to stop this test in just a second. That smoke is not from the Alxum charging station. That is purely from these USB resistor dummy loads. They're just really cheap, don't have any sort of heat dissipation. They're 99 cents and they get super, super hot. So let's just take some temperatures right now. As you can see, not too bad, getting a little bit warm at full load. Let's just take a couple more. And yeah, as you can see, it's definitely warm to the touch, but not hot. It's been 5 minutes at this point, 100 watts, and I haven't encountered any issues. Just to take some temperatures on that power brick. And as you can see, that's just warm to the touch as well. And finally, I want to test the max output of each port. This thing is advertised to output a max of 2.4 amps per port. When we had USB resistor dummy loads plugged into each port, they were drawing about 2 amps per port, total of about 93 to 94 watts, I think, at peak load. But now I just want to test a single port with 2 USB resistor dummy loads. Now, you'll notice something in just a second, and I'm going to address that. By the way, this is supposed to have overload protection, but the thing is I don't actually have enough USB resistors to overload this thing. It's been up to spec so far, so I want to believe that, but I'm not 100% sure on that aspect because, once again, I just don't have enough equipment around to go ahead and test that. So you'll notice something interesting right now. There's a discrepancy between this multimeter and this USB multimeter right here. This one's reading 4.89 volts, and this one's reading 4.35 volts at 2.5 amps. This is also at 2.5 amps, and I think this one is more accurate. The cable gauge is pretty thin on the span right here, and I think that might be contributing to a voltage drop. After all, we're pulling, 2.5 amps right now, and those cables are very, 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 very thin leading up to this multimeter. So I think this one is probably on the more accurate side of things. You can take both of these readings with a grain of salt, but it looks like it is, for the most part, handling 2.4 amps just fine. And if we bump that up to 2 amps each, as you can see, now it's starting to struggle on both multimeters. The voltage dropped down to 4.82 volts right here at 3.14 amps. Voltage dropped all the way down to 4.7 volts right here at 3.14 amps. So I think I might have to switch USB multimeters. I think these might be a bit more accurate. Now, in my opinion, this isn't a bad USB charging station. Now, it definitely does feel a bit cheap, lightweight, all plastic, but despite that, it meets all of the advertised specifications that are on the Amazon product page. Handled a continuous load of 93 to 94 watts just fine. Max output of 2.4 amps per port as far as I can tell. Now, I do need to buy a new multimeter. I killed my old one, and verify which one of these is closer to spec. I believe this one is closer to spec. I swore I tested this one though when I bought it, but I think it might be a bit off now. So for future reviews, I do need to test both of these and see which one is closer to the actual specification of the USB port. So that's going to be about it for this video. Did meet all of its advertised specifications once again, and that always makes me happy. Didn't catch on fire. And if you're just looking for, something to charge 10 devices, you're not really worried about the plastic look or feel, this might be for you, and you can go ahead and check it out. The link will be down in the description. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can go ahead and post a comment in the comment section. Don't forget to drop a like on this video. If you didn't like this video, please tell me why. And of course, please don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you want to support me, you can use my Amazon or eBay affiliate links, both of which will be in the description. That came out weird. I meant to say which will be in the description. And of course, don't forget to drop a like on the Facebook page. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next installment of AACAT Computers and Technology.